Today's episode is brought to you by my new book, Fuck Whales, Petty Essays from a Brilliant Mind. Available now at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere books are sold. Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe from the year 2K to Our Traps Gay. With over 2.5 million downloads, I'm your host, Madcast. With me is the Sultan of Swag, Mikey Bolts.
Hey, Maddox.
And as always, the Maharaja of Moderation, Rucka Ali.
Yo, yo.
Welcome back to the show. Guys, exciting show today, exciting debate. We've got one that's very timely because Valentine's Day is coming up. We're going to be talking about what are the biggest turnoffs for both guys and girls, especially on dates. And we have a very appropriate guest today. Her name is Kelli Miller. She has been on ABC, CBS, NBC, the Learning Channel, the Weather Channel, and the DIY Network. Please welcome to the show, therapist Kelli Miller. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Did you steal my ding?
So glad to have you. No, that's a different ding. We introduced the soundboard to Kelli before the show, and you said you were very excited to use it and abuse it.
Exactly.
Which we encourage all our guests to do. So, Kelli, we just actually did a show together on your own show with Dr. Deborah and Kelli the therapist on LA Talk Radio, right?
You were our most inappropriate guest by far.
Agreed. Hero. So happy about that.
We actually got booted off after you.
Oh, that's it. It's done, huh?
It's done. It's over.
Burn it to the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we do. That was a lot of fun, a very fun show, and I guess I'm not a typical type of guest that you have in your wheelhouse, right?
We wanted something fun and different. We're typically a psychology show, so we wanted a little something light and.
What are the types of callers and guests that you usually get?
It ranges. I mean, we had the pregnant man on one time.
That guy.
Yes, we had him on. Exactly.
Is it a girl?
What is the pregnant man?
It's a woman who was previously a man. So
it's a post-op man, right?
Correct. Okay, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's a man. I'm totally wrong.
Now
he's a man.
Yes.
But he was able to give birth, so he still has a vagina.
Or at least a uterus.
Yes, I don't know exactly.
Rucka knows about that. So
absolutely, I know all about the uterus.
But yeah, like everything, under the sun. So something like that, and then we've had like anxiety experts, depression people. Just it ranges because psychology is everything. So
yeah, fascinating. This I wish we had live callers on the show. We just unpack all these the onions. That we have here, the onions of
good thing all the listeners of this show have their shit all figured out.
Yeah, this is a very, I think, stable audience, stable fan base, no problems at all, not shitty, not weird,
happy,
good. Yeah, they're in, which you'll hear a little bit later in the show with the voicemail, which we'll get to.
Oh,
we're also going to have a recap of last week's debate, but first, this week's debate, which is what are the biggest turnoffs for guys and girls. Let's hear everyone's buzzer. Let's go around the table. Kelli, let's hear your buzzer. Mikey Bolts, that's yours. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
there you go. And Rucka.
Trigger.
Oh, no, wait, that's not it. What's happening here?
Everyone is fucking up.
We got a therapist in here. We're all losing our minds.
Yeah. And here's mine. And you all deserve that. But
exactly.
Kelli, as our guest this week, I'm going to give you first stab at this debate. What do you think is the biggest turnoff for a guy or a girl during dating, during relationships, that sort of thing?
Okay. God, I had a long list. I would say the first thing is stupid men.
Stupid men.
Stupid men. People who are dumb.
Dumb people.
People.
What is that? What does that mean?
What is that? Okay, so like they'll text you and they'll be like, "You're hot." YOURHOT. It's like an automatic.
So Michael Malice is out.
Mike. Yeah, we have a friend of the show, Michael Malice, who started a show on the Compound Media Network called You're Welcome.
That's
with
really
YOUR.
Is it funny? Isn't that a turnoff? The guy can't spell it in his own title of his show.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay, so that would be my first one.
So the biggest turnoff then to you is unintelligent guys. So the YOUR. Now, here's something kind of interesting. I learned that very quickly. I had to actually... So when I first became single a long time ago, after a long-term relationship, I didn't know how to date. I didn't know anything about online dating or anything like that. So I created an account on OkCupid, and I wanted to, get back into the dating pool. So I sent all these women who I thought were attractive and had qualities that were in line with mine.
Sure.
I sent them these really nice messages, and I spent a lot of time like, hey, my name is Maddox, and I think we have a lot in common, and it'd be really cool if we dated. All these like really lame messages. And the next morning I woke up after sending 10, 15 messages. I woke up, nothing. Zero responses. Zero. And most of them hadn't even checked my messages. So I thought, what the hell's going on here? What am I up against? And so I created a profile as a woman. And,
interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to see what I was up against, what was happening. So I found a moderately attractive girl online, just like a stock photo, and I posted that as my profile picture.
Love this.
Yeah, and I went through the sign up process and answering all the questions on OkCupid, because they ask you a lot of questions like, are you into traveling? Are you into cooking? That sort of thing, right? So I'm going through these questions, and as I'm going through the questions, I'm getting message after message after message from guys. I'm like, I haven't even filled out my fucking profile. All these horny losers, and the messages were all like, "You're hot. Why? You are hot." And then another one like, "Lol, what are you doing tonight?" And just the dumbest comments, and that made me feel so good, because I thought, oh, thank God, at least I have a leg up on the competition. And then I logged in and I looked at all the profiles of the dudes, and first of all guys look the same. And especially on dating websites, they're all wearing flannel, Rucka's favorite, and they have beards. It's like flannel, bearded,
lumberjack look.
Yeah,
I mean,
lumbersexual
is looking in the mirror. I do every day.
Yeah.
Right.
So and then none of them are funny, and most of them are dumb.
Right.
So that gave me at least an idea of what the competition was. And so it's a big turnoff, right?
100%.
Well, by that story, weren't you being the smart one, writing these thoughtful messages, and it yielded no results?
Yes, and then that's why I changed my strategy and I changed my focus. And I'm not going to get into it now, because that's a whole debate topic. Yeah, it's a very interesting. I'm going to be talking about that more in length at some point, but not today. But today we're talking about turnoffs. Yeah.
So when you say stupid, you mean like not thoughtful, not interested in learning, because okay,
not necessarily,
like Maddox can write. He writes. He knows how to use an apostrophe correctly.
Right.
Not everyone considers him smart per se, right? Is that true? Some people think you're stupid.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah.
No,
mom.
But the smart people can tell that you're smart. That's the thing. Because to be funny, you have to be smart, in my opinion, too. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, Rucka. Rucka
but
gets
no,
it.
I mean, not necessarily not thoughtful, but just you can kind of tell people are not bright. So that's my thing.
Yeah, there is a tell. I have been out on dates with girls where I was very attracted to them physically. But I knew that the lights weren't on.
Yes.
And I had to pull the plug. and this was also in a hospital. So.
But after how long? Like, were you like, all right, I can deal with this for a few dates, or
nope. First date?
Really?
I blew it so hard with this girl. She was really down. She was super cute. Met up with me. Seemed like she just had a string of bad dates and bad luck with men. And we got dinner together. We hit it off. Everything was nice. Everything was fine. Then I said, you know what? Let's get coffee next door. There's this coffee place I haven't tried. Let's check it out. We went in there and we closed the shop. But as we're talking, it came up that I hate when people post those inspirational quotes on Facebook. And I said it's the dumbest thing. I look down on people who do it, and I judge them very harshly. And she said, well, I do that. I said, I would hide your posts. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I would unfollow you. And she goes, what? she kind of laughed. She goes, wait, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'd hide you, And she goes, but I post those all the time. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And she goes, well, I don't think we can date. I'm like, I agree. That was it. Yeah. I was like, well, all right. See you, hottie. See you never. I don't give a shit.
I love it.
Not worth it.
That's interesting. The whole smartness standard, because I find most smart people, the intellectuals of the world, most of them have like the worst opinions and ideas on earth. So they've built a whole big logical castle on top of a very flimsy base. So they've ruined themselves as people with all their false views of the world. So when I'm hanging out with a girl who's maybe not that smart, it feels like being on vacation sometimes. Like I don't have to deal with a very stupid person who thinks they're smart. I'm dealing with someone who just knows she isn't that smart, and we're getting along fine.
Yeah, that's very attractive. It's a very attractive quality. See, for guys, it could be
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's so opposite for you guys.
Yeah, genius takes a vacation.
Right.
From the smart people.
No, the real ideal is someone like you who's obviously really smart and also fun. But let's be honest, you're kind of one in how many billions? So what are we supposed to do in the meantime?
There it is.
We got to find dumb chicks that are good looking.
No, thanks. No, the dumb.
All right, suit yourself.
Oh man, no. I've been with girls too, where I know that I would in a debate or an argument just crush them. And it's just so...
I could beat her at a debate. This is how he thinks.
He does think like that.
Yeah, pretty cool. Right?
Yes.
Kelly, that's an attractive quality.
Yes.
See? Bingo. All right. What else? Who? Mikey, what's a turnoff for you? For men or women?
My biggest turnoff is fighting just to fight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because it hasn't happened in a while.
That's attention.
Being in a relationship, they want attention, and they want to bring you back to the smallest you've ever been, where you understood the world, but from an argumentative standpoint. And they want that 5-year-old in you that is fired up, and they bring it out of you. And then you realize that as much as you don't want to be in this relationship, it has shown you the very youth that is you that was hidden all those years. So thank you to the last 2 girlfriends that I had for helping me realize my.
Oh, wow.
We need like a private session after this.
Yes.
Are you charging him for this?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So, yes, I think that there are some people who, because you haven't fought in a while, they go out of their way to make a deal out of something, or they, they put things in a certain way where you're where you can't win. Like, you know what I mean? And that is frustrating to me.
Well, sounds like someone just needs some good old-fashioned relationship advice.
Yeah.
But
are you attracting these drama queens, like typically? Or?
Typically, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Why do you
Regularly.
think that is?
You like the feisty.
You know what? I'm a nice guy.
He's a nice Greek boy.
I'm a nice Greek boy. And I've been trying to get married since I was 12. So that's really what it comes down to. And not knowing what I want at all, and not seeing these qualities until it's too late. And when it's too late, I mean, like, as time goes on, it becomes more and more difficult to break up with them, because you know that, oh man, and I'm following her aunt on Instagram, and like, do I unfollow her now? Are we going to get back together? Never get back together with an ex, but she's done this. And
I hate it. Hate dating in the social media era. Sucks so much. So, Kelly, you've been married for, you mentioned 12 years, right? So this hasn't been an issue for you, thankfully, the dating in the social media era. But what's terrible is exactly like what Mikey said. I dated a girl one time who was very flippant about unfollowing or unfriending me if we had a discussion or an argument or disagreement. And so the first time we had a fight, an argument in our relationship, she unfriended me on Facebook.
No.
And I said, "What the fuck are you doing? What is this?
That's ridiculous.
Are you out of your mind?" First of all, when we become unfriended on Facebook, suddenly all our photos and everything that our friends see are going to be, weirdly untagged. And that's going to be a weird thing. And I don't want to have to explain to people that my girlfriend and I had an argument and she unfriended me, because it's nobody's business.
And then if she adds you back,
exactly,
they see you're now friends.
Oh,
yes,
right.
and so that's what I told her. I said, look, I will. She then friend requested me because she apologized, and
friends again.
Yeah, we're friends again, and we're dating again, and so she re-added me, and I said, listen, this is your one allowance. The one time I'm going to do it. Next time you unfriend me, we're not friends anymore, and that's it.
Don't tell me she unfriended you right there.
No, she didn't. But because I told her, I'm like, don't broadcast this shit, because especially, one of the worst things you can do when a friend of yours goes through a breakup and you're friends with the couple is to take sides. Yeah. Because more often than not, they might try to reconcile and work things out. And then suddenly that person you were shit-talking is back in their lives. And that's going to be awkward. Yeah. So it's kind of similar in the social media era when you unfriend somebody who you're dating and then you broadcast that to the world and people take sides. There's this group of cosplayers. Cosplayers are people who dress up as comic book characters and that sort of thing. They are the biggest drama queens, and I love that I'm friends with so many of them, because when they go through breakups, it is very, very public, and people take the I mean, it's like the line in the sand might as well be a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
It is so wide, and people take very strong positions for or against
Wow.
the person. And people swear off their friendships and swear off being friends with these people, these acquaintances, and they make these declarations like eulogies. Like, I've known let's say Sally. I've known Sally for years, and she's a wonderful person. And let's say Joe. Joe is a scumbag, and he's a piece of shit, and I fucking hate him, and I'm 100% Team Sally. Week or two later, they get back together.
Oh.
So all I do, I just sit there. It's the best shot in Freud. I just sit there and watch and see what the comments happen, see who's friending and unfriending people. It's a lot of fun to watch.
So this is a debate. So tell Mikey why
Right.
why he shouldn't have a problem with girls that fight all the time.
Well, it depends, Mikey. Now, is it the thing? Is it the same quality as me? Is it that, except in reverse, that I'm too good at debate, so I know I'll just crush my dates sometimes?
Is that
is
your
that
problem?
what the problem is?
Yeah, and being too nice and knowing that if you put something off too long, it's going to get harder and harder to do to just break it off. I shouldn't have been with those girls, obviously, but it's like you always think about the good times, and it's easy to, after something really, really bad, something goes okay, and then you're kind of just back to that place of complacent, really.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's just comfortable.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were going to challenge him. All right, here, Mikey.
Yes.
But it keeps it exciting, right? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, keeps it fresh.
yes, the
You
fire.
make up. Woo.
Yeah.
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 And you're like, thank God I don't have to do that until tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know? So,
I mean, what's the alternative? You get along perfectly and you get bored?
well, the longer you're in a relationship, the more you're like rooting yourself to this, whether it's good or bad. So you can like trick yourself into thinking that it's better than it really is. But I think I just convinced myself that it was, what am I trying to say? Like
That it was okay, that it was salvageable.
Yeah, like I just convinced myself it was easier to stay in the relationship than to find somebody who at least, it was one of those things where I was like, at least we have all these things that I know I couldn't find in another relationship.
Yeah.
But the bad was so outweighing the good that
So that was a turnoff then. The arguments was
yes,
being
it
argumentative.
was probably the biggest
Yeah,
thing where
well-
it was like, what are we arguing about? Because I would be
Yeah.
completely rational. I would be like, this is exactly how I feel. This is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not making it difficult for you to understand. Just say how you feel.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I'll tell you how I feel, Mikey.
Oh,
Wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
What's up?
Because the upside, all right, the other side of the coin of argument is makeup sex. Yeah, which is the hottest.
With
the best.
eyeliner, and you got your mascara, and you guys are really taking care of each other.
No, Mikey.
Oh,
What are you-
everyone has
what are you
different
talking
makeup
about?
sex.
No, because makeup sex is also like, all right, everything's good.
Yeah.
You've made up. Everything's fine. But you're still a little angry at each
Yeah.
other.
Oh, you're pissed.
And that's what that is. And you're taking it out, and it's just a better experience. So how about that, Mikey? How's that a turn off?
It's sad
This is
realizing that you're bait.
You ever have sex while you're not entirely reconciled, and then later
Yeah.
on it's like you're still mad,
Yeah.
and then she's like,
Yeah.
"Well, why did you have sex with me if you're still mad?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Well, what was I supposed to do? Not have sex with you and then make you more mad?"
Yeah, exactly. Right? You
can't win.
Yeah.
It's an
I'm
unwinnable
doing
war.
something for you.
Yeah.
You know?
It's unwinnable.
Giving you this gift of wiener, and this is how I thought it would
Amy?
soothe things over. Because right, Kelly, you can confirm this. Like you girls, like that you talk to each other. You're like, hey, are you guys still fighting?
Yeah.
You're like, no. He gave me a gift of wiener, and
That never happens. We never say that.
really, are you
But in
sure?
your fantasy mind, maybe, but no.
You wrote a book, Kelly. It's
Yeah, what's her book?
yeah, it's Professor Kelly's Guide to Finding a Husband.
Ooh.
That's not in your book?
No.
Kidding me?
So what are some of the guides to finding a husband?
Sure. So I had a lot of single girlfriends at one point, and they were just doing really dumb things. Like, they were they wanted to find a serious guy, and they'd be like, oh yeah, but he called me at like 10 o'clock at night and, asked me to come over. So I came over, and I'm like, no, if you want to date him, don't go over there for a booty call. So it was like things like that. Just probably nothing that you guys want to hear.
Yeah, disagree.
Exactly. I was
Wrong
going to say.
and
No,
wrong. No.
Yeah, all right.
Wait, so that's not the way you're saying to find a husband.
If you want to get laid, that is absolutely the way to do it. But
So,
no, if you
all
want
right,
to find a husband.
let me write this down. So you call a girl over at 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
All right, I'm writing
Uh-huh.
the number 10 down. There we go. 10
PM.
PM.
Right,
Okay.
PM.
I had AM down originally. 10 a.m. We were just getting eggs. Very delicious.
Right.
I was just gaining weight. Wasn't getting laid as much. Anyway, okay. Well, good tip. We'll ask some more advice too, because all our female listeners, I think they're all single. All the female listeners of this show are single, successful, and hot, and that's a fact. And they're all looking for husbands. So we'll ask for more tips.
All right,
Rucka,
cool.
let's get yours though. What's a big turn off?
I would
you?
say complacence.
Ooh, complacence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Why complacence? How? What do you mean by that?
That's a good one. How do you mean?
I mean,
Well, I know how I mean, but I want to see what you
Complacence.
think. Yeah.
like not working on something. Complacent, sort of satisfied with the status quo.
Lazy?
Well, I mean, someone could be complacent and still work hard at the job they have, but
Okay.
like I'm always looking. I'm on a journey.
You want like someone with drive.
Drive,
Motivation.
motivation,
Got it. Mm-hmm.
and innovation.
But are you finding this with these dumb girls that you're talking about?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You want to date a lawyer
And
or a
but by,
doctor?
by the way, smart people, and I'm not just putting girls in this category, but
Yeah.
smart people in general can use all their IQ points
Uh-huh.
to prevent themselves from being driven, to be arrogant, and to put themselves on a pedestal, and to think, especially with some of the ideas prevailing today, they think that who they are today is just who they must be, who they were destined to be by their genetics or some ridiculous thing like that. But that's a separate topic. But a lot of smart people they don't inspire me. They're
Right.
they don't challenge me. So, I mean, dumb and smart people can both be complacent, and sometimes some of the less intellectual types are very inspiring in that way. They can be very passionate about
Sure.
bettering themselves.
Okay.
All right. Good answer. Rucka. What do you got for me?
Yeah.
That's on the soundboard. That's not me
Yeah.
saying it again. But okay, so complacency. The opposite of that is somebody who's really driven, really ambitious, someone who is constantly striving to improve themselves. There's another word for that: annoying.
True.
I'll tell you, because
Yeah.
I've dated girls like that.
Yeah.
And some of them are really cool, but I'll tell you, it becomes a monster. It becomes a beast that takes over their lives, and everything becomes about self-improvement. They can't ever let loose. Their schedules are very busy. One girl in particular, I went out on a couple dates with. She was a lawyer, and she showed up at this burger place we were meeting up at, like 20, 30 minutes late. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrapping up this case or whatever." We finished, and then she said, "Listen, I have another hour and a half left of this date." And I thought that was like the biggest turnoff to me. And I said, "Well, what do you have?" She goes, "I got this other briefing I got to do. I got to get to this other thing." And I thought she was looking for an excuse to get out of the date.
Yeah.
She didn't like me. And then I was kind of turned off after that date, and she hit me up over and over and over again. She's like, "Hey, I really had a fun time. I wasn't trying to get out of the date. I just want to go out again." And I thought, this is somebody whose life is always like this. If you are a partner at a firm, if you're a partner at an accounting firm or a law firm or whatever, your life, you're very driven, you're very motivated, and your life is completely all about your work.
Right.
And so that can not be conducive to a relationship sometimes.
I wasn't necessarily talking about career as the only thing. There's also physical exercise. There's also personal happiness, art, enjoyment of the arts. Like there's relationships, wanting to improve a relationship is a type of motivation that I'm talking about. So the fact that she was too focused on work doesn't negate what I'm saying. That is a form of complacence where she's afraid to leave her familiar comfort zone.
Would you-
Doctor?
Okay, so you want someone adventurous is basically what you're saying.
No.
No,
Someone who
Rucka does not.
challenges his mind.
He does not like adventures.
No,
No.
no. I like I don't know what I like, but
Okay.
I'm talking about introspective is what I mean. Introspective,
okay.
and I mean part of what I'm talking about is being well-rounded. So not being
Right.
too focused on
Okay.
work per se, although
Sure.
that is a good thing to maybe double down on for many people. But living the best life you can is how I would sum that up. And there is a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy.
There is a hierarchy, but I will say this, that
Yeah.
that the people I've dated who have been so driven on that level, it becomes a place of shallowness. It becomes a driver for shallowness. So if we're going out together, if we're going out for a dinner or a dance or whatever event, getting ready for this person is going to take 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And in that time, it just kills the energy and my momentum, and I want nothing. I want nothing more than to just sit in an icebox and freeze to death. That's all I want because my motivation is dead. The night is ruined.
So first you're saying they're too focused on career, and now they're too focused on their physical
looks.
looks.
That's another
Everything to you
aspect
is
of it,
material.
Okay, but-
it's either money or makeup. What about the spiritual growth? What about the personal happiness? Like the fact that these girls were annoying does not say they were singing my tune. It says their priorities were a little bit out of focus.
Well, I'm just saying it's more often than not that these come together. These qualities come together. Or I would say characteristics. Yeah.
See, I disagree. I think it's rare that someone's going to be very focused on their looks and their career. I think it's I think it's rare to have both.
I've seen. I'm talking about one person in particular, so I'm not trying to give it. I'm trying to avoid giving out too many details so people can't piece together who this is. But it's somebody who was very driven in their career, but also their looks, physical, makeup, everything about them had to be put together, and it consumed them.
Okay,
that's all the relationship became.
Well, that's a problem. Like that's part of being too focused on certain things.
I agree. There we go.
So that's not what I'm talking about. That's a form of complacence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A form of complacence is being too non-complacent?
Yeah, when you realize you're spending 14 hours a day in front of the mirror or at the office and it's hurting your relationship. I mean, having a happy relationship is one of the things that make life better, right, Doctor?
I'll agree with that.
See? So, I mean, those girls that you were talking about, they needed to be more introspective and to find that balance.
Okay. Well, good picks, everyone, so far, but I think I got the real biggest turnoff here.
Okay.
I got the real big one here. This one...
Hold on, I got it.
What is that?
Doesn't like exotic fruit.
Doesn't like exotic fruit. No, but that is a big turnoff. Mine is flossing. People,
Interesting.
Women who don't floss, and I'll tell you what, I found a direct correlation. I'm actually working on a video about this. It's called "Hot Tips for Hot Babes."
Yeah,
and it's about really beautiful women tend not to floss.
Interesting.
And I have a theory why.
Okay.
It's because they're so hot, right? And all these guys are such losers who come up to them. And they're so excited and anxious to get a date with a hottie that when they open their swamp mouth, the guy's too afraid to say anything. He's just like, oh, let me get in there. Let me give me a kiss. But these guys are losers and they're pathetic. And I am the savior. I remember once I was talking to this girl online. We were going to go on a date and she was really hot. And I started talking to her and I said, hey, let me ask you a question. Do you floss? Because I think you don't. And she goes, how did you know? And I'm like, because you're hot. And I was 100% correct.
It's a great way
Wow.
to.
Yeah.
And she admitted it.
She admitted it, yeah. And she said she was going out on another date that night with some other dude.
Okay.
And she was like, she was like, no, you're full of shit. My breath is fine. No one's ever complained. I'm like, yeah, because you're hot. Guys aren't going to say anything. And she asked her date that night. She said, I'm going to test your theory. I'm going to ask my date. And he's like, yeah, you should probably floss. Yeah, hero. That's what I do. I improve through criticism. But I think it's something that's a big turnoff for really attractive women. If you're listening, and that's 100% of the women listening to the show because they're all attractive and successful,
right?
Floss. It's the biggest turnoff especially when a really.
But I think more women floss than men.
You think so?
Probably.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
100%.
Probably. They spend more time in front of the mirror.
Absolutely.
Caring what they got their rituals, right? Guys are more likely to just mail it in and
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I think so especially because a lot of guys, I mean, the hygiene scale for guys is all over the place.
Oh,
like a really attractive woman is really put together and she pays a lot of attention to her eyebrows. This is a thing I didn't know that existed until like 4 or 5 years ago, but plucking eyebrows.
oh, you didn't realize?
No, I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, wow.
And out in LA, there's all these what are they called? Beauty stores?
Yes.
Beauty stores.
yeah.
where women go and they have these strings.
The threading?
Threading, that's the one. Yeah, threading. And they thread individual hairs out of your eyebrows. I'm like, what the hell is this weird? That's like using chopsticks to eat rice when I was a kid. You know?
Yeah, and like if a guy doesn't have if he doesn't floss, it's like, who cares? Like, the guy's a loser anyway. And if he ever does land a girl, hopefully, she could just tell him one day. She's like, hey, you should floss. And, like, he's like, okay, cool. a girl is beautiful and she's got bad breath, that is a tragedy right there.
Yep.
That is something that was this close to being perfect and has been greatly diminished.
Yeah.
But how much of it is a tragedy for you? I feel like you guys would all still go out with her, no?
I would be I mean, I'm guessing we've both been in this situation.
Yeah,
Maddox.
I've been in this situation.
I mean, you look for a way. What I always do is at the early stages of a relationship, I'll talk about my history with dental hygiene because I have an interesting story. This is actually a passion of mine.
Tell us.
All through my teens, I completely neglected my teeth, and my 2 buck teeth. They started to disintegrate in the top. If you look closely, doctor, you can see where they were filled in later on. But yeah, at one point they were just bleeding out there because they were so badly neglected. So I went to the dentist and they filled them in, and they found like other cavities and they filled those in, and they showed me how to floss, and they gave me all the different tools required, and I started flossing, and I noticed, like, whoa, like when I first did it, like the smell that I was tasting. I mean, because you got food back there,
Right.
Literally meat, red meat, years old.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Who doesn't floss? What do you sit? So, and I said, oh, that means I got to do it more. After anytime I was home after a meal, I would do it, and at least every evening before bed, I would floss. And over time, I just, my dentists, they start saying, yeah, you've been doing your homework. Yes, you have. This year, I went to the dentist, and she said, I have never had a patient with impeccable hygiene.
Wow.
And that's my story.
Well.
So I when I tell that story to a girl, it's usually kind of hinting like, yeah, I found that I had there was some really nasty crap happening back there. It's like I'm really big on flossing now.
I did the same type of thing, but going to the gym, I'm always like, if there was a girl I was saying, I'm like, but you can't ever suggest that you should, hit the treadmill a little bit. But I say, hey, yeah, I really like to work out. It's really fun, and I like to ride my bike everywhere. Anyway, so how are you getting to your next place? What are you doing? You driving? Okay. Well, anyway, no reason I brought up that story.
Yeah.
So
basically, this all really falls under the category of complacence, really. Because a driven person, they want to both be in physical shape, and they want to floss, and they want to have a career or something they're passionate about that they're working to improve. Yeah, hit the buzzer. Go ahead.
There you go.
What you got?
I'll tell you why it's not falling under the umbrella of complacency is because I think a lot of people, myself included, have a misconception about flossing and the importance of it based on a Listerine commercial. And I'll tell you which one, because I remember seeing this commercial, and this is part of the reason why I never flossed for the longest time in my life. Every time I would go to the dentist, cavity after cavity after cavity, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? My mom always told me, oh, it's just our family. We just have bad teeth. We just have bad teeth. Everyone has bad teeth.
That's not complacent.
Yeah, and so I was resigned to just always having bad teeth until I flossed, and it was the same experience as Ruck. I'm like, holy shit, all this junk is just digesting in my mouth in between my cracks. But the reason I didn't floss, part of it is because I saw this Listerine commercial where someone put the Listerine in their mouth, and it was a CG representation of the water of the Listerine flowing in and running in between the teeth and in between the crevices and killing all the bacteria. That's what I visualized every time I used Listerine. And so I would use the mouthwash thinking, I got it, it's good. But the problem with that is that it doesn't knock the food out between your teeth.
Right.
And so it's not going to get in there. And it's still food that's just rotting and creating cavities. And then after I started flossing, every time I went to my dentist, impeccable. They said, are you sure you didn't get your teeth cleaned recently? I said, yeah, I did it myself. It's called a toothbrush and floss.
I'm like very embarrassed to share that I didn't go to
floss?
the dentist like in my 20s for a couple years, and I had 13 cavities at one point. I swear to God, I said to him, am I like brushing my teeth with a Tootsie Pop? Like, I don't understand. I have 13, but I might have been flossing also. So how do
you would know
that?
if you were flossing.
Yeah, you would know.
You can have as many cavities as you want. Just floss.
Right.
Good God.
Just
do
floss.
you floss now?
Yes, I do floss now.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's why you're successful. That's why you got this great poise.
Yeah.
But you know what's good, by the way, and this will help all your listeners too. If you don't have time to floss, you can buy those little, God, how do you explain it? They're like little
toothpick
picks.
swords, yeah.
Exactly. And you can put them in the car. And then while you're at the traffic light, just do it.
You're flossing then.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's literally flossing, right?
Yeah.
It is flossing,
It gets
yeah.
the space between your teeth.
That's what I do.
This is not controversial stuff.
No.
I mean, this is like CPR. Everyone should know how to CPR, and everyone should floss.
Yeah.
Right.
This is not like, you know, is there another side of the debate about this?
To flossing, I'm sure there is. I'm not going to make it today.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about. I'm not prepared to make that argument.
Yeah.
Me neither. I'm in agreement.
So Kelly, what are some other turnoffs for women?
Lack of confidence.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And I once, and I'm not even kidding you, had a guy, we're about to have sex. He's like, I'm not really that good at this.
Whoa! Oh man.
I'm like, okay, this is
Get
not gonna start well, not gonna end well. But like that lack of confidence is just not attractive.
I wish I had the sound of just like hot wind blowing through the desert, because it's just right. It's just gonna kill the mood. It's gonna kill everything
Completely.
How old was this guy?
Yeah.
I was like probably 20, early 20s.
I mean, there's low confidence, and then there's actually saying that. Like that is like a new level of weird.
Although, but I thought about it. I analyzed it. I was like, maybe because he wanted to like, you know, basically set the standard, and then me be
Surprised.
excited. Exactly.
Wow.
And he's like, all right, I came out ahead. You know, I don't know.
Was that the experience?
It wasn't good. I'll be
wasn't
honest.
good.
Once
No.
he says that,
Good. It wasn't good.
and women, they're correct me if I'm wrong, doctor,
Yeah.
but women are very cerebral creatures. You know,
Yes.
They-
For sure. You
tell
gotta
them,
stimulate
you tell
the
them,
mind.
you show them lack of confidence, and
Forget it.
there's dryness.
Yes.
There's a
Yes, go
Physical
on.
there's a
dryness.
drought.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought my sound effect analogy was crass, and then Rucka.
Right.
Yeah.
Goes right in there.
And with a pinch hitter.
Right.
Yeah, so
lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence. That's a big one, and I think that's probably the biggest turnoff for women. Look,
Probably.
when you're in the bedroom with a girl, especially for the first time, the last thing you want to say is, "Hey, this might not be that good."
I mean, who does that?
Get the fuck out. You gotta treat it like an Italian chef in a restaurant. All right, you're gonna love it. All right, you're gonna be so hungry for what I'm about to feed you.
Are you an Italian, Dr. Kelly?
No,
You're not?
Jewish.
Oh,
Jewish.
Oh,
All right,
same thing.
sweet. We're
Yeah,
good.
pretty much. Moms force feed you.
We're
it's
solid.
all
We
the same.
will offend Italians every episode. But yeah,
But in general, but not even in the bedroom. I mean, just a lack of confidence in general, I would say.
yeah. I mean, let's go back to the chef analogy. Treat it like a chef. You're a chef. If you're about to make a meal for somebody, you don't want to say, "That's probably not that good,"
Right.
because I don't want to eat it. Whatever you're eating. I learned this lesson a long time ago with some friends. We'd always go to the dollar store and experiment with the shittiest, weirdest snacks we could find. And it was always fun to go in, and we would try them, and sometimes they were really bad. My friends were like, "Oh, this is awful. Here, try it." I'm like, "No, you just said it's awful. Why would I try it?"
Right.
You don't want to sell your sex like that.
Right.
Shitty
But
sex.
on the other hand, I will say, and you don't want them too arrogant either. So, I mean,
Wrong.
you don't want them too cocky, and then it's like that's a turnoff also. So you got to have a good balance.
Do you have an experience with a guy who's been too cocky? How was that a turnoff?
Because they think they're so great at everything and they can do no wrong. I don't
Oh,
know. There's
okay, I
like
see
an
what you're saying.
arrogance.
Yeah.
There's like, so you need a balance.
I've been with girls like that too.
Yes.
Oh my, it's a huge turn. That's another one I'll say. Girls who are too arrogant.
Yes.
I like attractive women, but I hate it when they know how attractive.
attractive they are.
Like
Yes.
like they act like how attractive everyone tells them they are all the time.
Yep.
And they don't give you the time of day. They're really shitty people.
I love how intently you look at
Yeah.
And they don't even floss.
They know that they don't fly.
They're not even as perfect as they think.
No.
Yeah.
They got swamp breath. Get me out of there.
Yeah, let them know their breath is bad on your way out
Yeah.
the front door.
I wish there was a kiss abortion. Like you're midway in the kiss and you just like hit that eject button. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Wait, goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Science is getting us there.
Yeah. Just like take the saliva with you. Like, no, thanks. It just like sucks back into your mouth. Eject, rewind the whole night. Go hang out with your bros, get some wings.
Yeah.
Your bros who floss. Yeah. Guys will tell each other all the time. It's like, dude, you reek.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, but I don't think women can do that, sadly.
Girls don't tell it. You guys always criticize each other's looks and
Behind
stuff,
their
right?
backs.
But
Oh, behind
exactly, definitely not to them.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
Sad.
correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that brings me to honesty. I'm really into honesty too.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Biggest turnoff actually
Honesty.
is
He
when
finally woke up. He's been
yes, The biggest turnoff is when you're talking to a girl and you know that she's thinking instead of talking to you, and that's being dished instantly to her number one, whoever her bestie is. And it's not you. And you're not getting the best. You're not getting what's in the moment. She's thinking. And she's thinking about her answer. You want that yes and that improv, that just straightforward, this is what I'm thinking right now. And watching them just think, and I'm sure it's the same way for girls and guys, like just someone just sitting there and their eyes are going back and forth. It's like, just tell me what you're thinking. Just tell me in the moment. What are you thinking? Why are you thinking about this? Just tell me.
Are you saying girls who are not being honest with you? Completely?
Yeah, well, when I know they're holding in the answer that I'm looking for.
Right.
And I feel like there's a lot that they're not telling me that I know is being dished to a friend before it's being told to me. So I think that might be on honesty, but.
Yep. Dating some shady girls. That's the problem. Right? Would you say
I'm thinking, I'm like, I got to give you my number after this so I can have a session with you.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to help you with the red flags here.
Yeah, those are big red flags, especially if you ask, it comes up in fights and arguments when you have offended the person you're dating. You ask them what's wrong, and they say nothing.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Where does that come from?
I'm sorry that you guys have to deal with that because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
That is, so they're saying nothing, but what they really want is for you to be like, no, come on, tell me. They want that more attention.
Yeah.
So they're and of course you're taking it literally, like, all right, nothing's wrong, and then they're even more pissed off because you then are leaving.
I dated a girl one time. This was just
you dated a lot of women.
Yeah. I escalated the situation every time she said nothing was wrong. Because after she said nothing was wrong, I would just celebrate. And it pissed her the fuck off.
I'm sure.
I would say, oh, thank God. Well, here, have some wine. If we're having dinner together, it's like, great, let's have another glass of wine. That's fantastic. I'm so happy. I thought I had said or done something to offend you, but clearly not. That's not the case. You said nothing is wrong. I'm so relieved.
Right.
Do you want to see a movie afterwards? She's like, whatever. I'm like, well, I'm going to take that as a yes because you said nothing is wrong. And boy, did she get pissed. Relationship didn't last. But also, on the other hand, like I'm at a state in my life where I'm not willing to play games.
Right.
I don't care. If something is wrong, speak up. Tell me what the problem is, and we can discuss it. If nothing's the problem, then something else must be upsetting you that isn't me.
Right.
In either case, I want to know what it is, so we can move past it. You know, as a compassionate and caring partner, you'd want to hear what that problem is to discuss it and solve it. I'm a great problem solver. You know, I know in that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, like, oh, women don't want guys to solve their problems. Is that right? Is that true?
No, I mean, it depends. I think it depends.
Yeah.
I think you need to preface it like, okay, hey, I need a sounding board right now, or hey, can you help me with this? But go on.
A soundboard?
You got your soundboard as soon as you got here.
Exactly.
So what are some ways to react to a lady saying nothing's wrong?
Nothing. Say, no, I'm really asking you because I really want to know. I can tell you're upset. So let's talk about this. That's something that...
All right.
Yeah.
There it is, Maddox. You should have tried that.
No, I celebrated.
He's like, screw that.
Did not work.
Right.
So, yeah, don't take my advice on that one. What would you say is another tip for a woman looking to find a husband?
Okay. Let's see. A lot of women go after unavailable men. And
what do you mean by unavailable? Emotionally? Literally?
Either. Married, players, things like that.
How can you spot a player? How can you spot a guy who's not interested in committing?
Oh, like typically really charming, saying, you know,
everyone's looking at me. I'm so I'm in trouble.
You were raising your eyebrow and looking around.
Okay. Right. I mean, just being noncommittal. Like, okay, yeah, well, maybe we'll go out, or you know, on this day, and then flaking, and then you know, calling randomly, like that kind of thing.
That's bullshit. That pisses me off, and that's exactly like what you said, which is the lack of confidence. The guy who's not committal, not flaking. I think that's a sign. I think a guy who is not confident about his decisions.
But I don't know if that's confidence. I think that might just be like, I want to keep all my options open, or you're not good enough for me.
Yeah. That's exactly what that is. I agree. I changed my answer.
I want to hear more of your turnoffs for women. I'm curious.
I got
this.
Another one.
Okay.
I got a turn off. A woman who doesn't have a job.
Aw, shit.
Boo.
Yeah.
And this is especially a problem in big cities like Los Angeles. Probably not as much in New York, but women who don't have jobs, I hate it. I remember I signed up just for a hot minute on Match.com, and they wouldn't approve.
Hot minute.
Yeah. They wouldn't even approve my profile because it was real bitchy. Right at the top, I was just like, please have a job. And
right, exactly, right.
it wasn't a big turn on for a lot of women. They're like, who's this asshole?
But yet, okay, so you want a girl who has a job but not too focused on the job.
Yes, correct. Can you just have a normal job?
Right, okay, so can
you just chill out, not be a fucking whatever, super surgeon or
right. Just be mediocre.
Yeah. Just can you have a mediocre job?
Right.
So you can pay for things every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what a turn on is: a girl who pays for something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Boner
Interesting,
for
because it's a
days.
turn off for me when men don't pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
No way.
Yes.
I've always said there's some correlation between women being turned on and you paying for stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is science.
No,
Right.
I read this book called I think it's called Influence, and it's the power of persuasion, and it's talking about these subtle ways in which we are all programmed in society to curry favor with one another, and one of them is by doing favors for one another, and why in grocery stores giving out samples works. More often than not, when they give out samples, people feel obliged to buy the product. Right? And even me, to the point where I no longer do this, but I remember when I was younger, I would get a sample at Costco, and I would, whatever the product was, I would just say, act really interested. And I would look at it, and I would nod thoughtfully, and I would take it sometimes. I would even put it in my cart and then walk an aisle or two down and then take
dump
it. And then dump
I
it.
do the same thing.
Yes. See? Yeah,
Exactly.
there you go.
I did the same thing because I feel so bad.
Yeah.
It's like they're taking their time to talk to you about it. And,
Right.
And then you feel badly just taking the sample and then just be like, oh, okay, thanks, bye. So you have to take the product. I totally agree.
So, Kelly, what you've done just now is you've agreed with me, because that's exactly what the dinner date does. It puts in the mind like, oh the guy bought you something. And then there's an expectation, and then that's what builds resentment and this weirdness. I would rather everyone just pay for their own meals, and so there is no expectation, there is no resentment, and the guy shouldn't. First of all, you should never expect anything from a date, regardless of whether or not you pay for it or not. Right? Nobody owes you sex. Nobody owes you affection. Nobody owes you anything. But sometimes guys, and I know guys like this, sometimes guys do that as a manipulation tactic. Especially the more expensive the dinner is, the more expensive the drinks are, and it's almost like this weird barter system. It was like, well, I bought you this thing, and then when you don't reciprocate any kind of favor, especially the type of favor they're expecting, then it builds anger and resentment. And I'm like, you know what? Let's remove this from the equation. Let's not have this weird expectation. Let's not turn this into a grocery store free sample situation.
You're the one making it a grocery
That's
transaction.
I'm saying it's not.
Guys have been paying for dates for as long as there have been dates. Doctor, do you think that...
I totally disagree with you. I don't even think women think about the expectation part of it. It's like, oh yeah, we're going on a date, and that's really nice. He's going to pay for me. I think it's the guys who are expecting, oh look, I've shelled out all this money. I don't think that women are thinking that. So I think it's you that has to change.
Is this part of the modern disintegration of the American male? Is this part of the feminization of what used to be the male species?
How do you mean?
This men used to take pride in paying for a date, right? I mean,
no, I think it's more feminist to not pay
I didn't
for
say
it.
feminist.
I agree. I think it is more feminist to split it or whatever.
Well, I think feminism essentially it does away with gender roles in the mating ritual, which is why so many people are in less happy relationships today than maybe in the past. That's just one possible reason for that. But I'm not about feminism, which is like basically a political movement. I'm just talking about paying at a first date.
Right.
Yeah, maybe one day you'll be partners in life, Maddox, and you can split the costs. Maybe if you play your cards right, you'll find a chick that makes more money than you.
No, he doesn't want that. Then she'll be too focused.
Right.
No.
Oh, okay. So she can make more money.
Yeah.
But as long as she's not so focused on it.
Yeah, if it's not consuming her, I don't care how much money she makes.
Okay,
as long as
hold
it's
on.
not
Let's
consuming her.
ask the token female on the show question. If you're with a guy and it's like, it's the 21st century, you're not sure if it's a date or not. It's
Okay.
just like you made plans.
Sure.
and you don't want it to be a date. The bill arrives. What do you do?
Then I'd offer to pay.
You basically insist on either paying for the whole thing or at least half of it. You're like, you're not letting this guy.
I wouldn't pay for the whole thing.
I mean, but you're not letting this guy pay for. You're not letting it be a date. See, when you.
But okay, wait, but hold on. But if I offer to pay and he says, "Oh no, it's okay, I got it," I probably wouldn't be like, "No, let me get it." Like, I'd be like, "Okay, that's really sweet, thanks."
That's fine. Yeah, you
Okay,
know.
you're
Yeah, but
okay with
even
that?
that sends the message like, "Oh yeah, this is not a date, but thanks for buying me some shit."
Okay.
I usually pay for dates, and I go on dates with the expectation to. So when the girl offers, I usually say, no, it's fine, thank you for the offer. I'll get this. And whether or not she was sincere is irrelevant. It just the gesture alone makes me feel better. It makes me feel like she didn't expect the free dinner.
I agree with that.
whatever.
I actually do offer to. I agree with that.
That's nice. And I also like, here's a big turn on, is when we go to dinner, if I do pick up the tab and we go to get drinks afterwards, she buys drinks or buys coffee.
Yeah,
it's
listen.
a gesture. It's really nice.
Listen,
it makes me feel good.
communication is key. Like a girl, there are ways for a girl to offer to pay. Like I once I was on a first date, and it was very clear that the girl liked me. And
How was it clear?
she wanted it to be a date, and she was like, she basically indicated, she's like, oh, maybe another time I can pay, basically saying there are going to be more dates, and she was like, I don't mind paying sometimes or something like that. Yeah,
Cool.
other times, like
That's
you said,
nice.
she lets you pay for dinner. Later on, she'll pay for drinks or something.
Yeah.
But there are ways to do that in a way that says this is a date,
Right.
and there's a way to do that says you're not paying for shit because I am emasculating you.
Right.
So what I'm saying is the fact that you don't even ever want to pay on a date just, I think, says something about the state of the male mind in today's culture.
Yeah, well, I think the fact that you just didn't hear a fucking thing I said I go on dates expecting to pay.
What? Hold on, but doesn't that create a barter expectation?
It does, but
that's a good thing.
It's a pleasant. No, it's not.
Oh.
It's a pleasant surprise when the date offers to pay for something. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's this unicorn I'm going out on a date with? Who's this modern
So
woman?
you're preaching against men paying just so all other guys stop doing it.
Yeah,
so then
stop
you look
doing it.
good.
Stop doing it, you
that makes
bozos.
So that you look good.
Yeah, exactly. All these
Got it.
fucking losers. I've been on dates. I went on a date one time with this girl who very blatantly said that she and her roommate are running a little dinner racket. And this girl was like, yeah, I'm really struggling right now. I don't have money. And we just go, I go on like 4 or 5 dates a night, and my roommate does this. She goes, I'm not doing this. I'm like, well, it kind of sounds like you are.
I mean, she's got to eat.
Yeah, it's got to eat and dessert too. Eat up, shithead. And so she wanted to go on another quote date, and I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck this is anymore.
Right,
Is this a dinner thing? And I went on another date one time with this girl who I met her on OkCupid, believe it or not, and I messaged her. I was just in my fuck around phase. I'm like, I don't know about this platform. I'm just experimenting, seeing what happens. I think I messaged her and I said, hey, do you want to get together and burp or something? And she wrote back. She goes, sure. What time? And I thought, maybe she's fucking with me back. And I said, how about 8 on Tuesday? She goes, sounds good. Pick me up. I'm like, is she still fucking with me? What is going on? And she was like, no, I'm actually
she
serious.
sounds sincere.
Yeah, and I started looking through her pictures, and all of her pictures were kind of like weird angles or blurry. One of them, she was literally wearing a mask in. I couldn't see her face, and I thought, okay, she's got to be like some fat weirdo. I don't know what's going on. I didn't get a good feeling out of it, but I said, you know what? Because she committed to the burp date, I'm going to go out with this girl and see what happens. So we set up a date. We go to this awesome like Japanese little sushi restaurant I found, and I gave her a recommendation of list. I'm like, here's a bunch of places with good reviews. She was really impressed. She shows up on this date.
Hold on.
What?
You gave her a list of places with reviews?
Options.
Options?
Options.
Hold on.
I think that's sweet. I'm going.
What?
I'm going.
Doctor?
dinner.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you disbarred. What do you mean that's sweet? He's giving her
Is she
options.
a lawyer too?
He's giving her options. He's saying, here are the list of places we can go. That's
sweet.
Yeah,
Don't
tell
you
us
what?
sweet.
I think because he
Oh
took
my
the
God.
time.
Women, don't listen to her. Women,
Don't
you know.
listen to the woman in the room.
I mean, men, don't. Come on.
Wait, really? No, I think that's sweet.
No, girl, that's not. Come on.
Rucka, why?
Yeah,
what's your
why is that
philosophy
not?
here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicks like you to pick them up and take them somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
hey.
feel like you think that women want like aggressive. You think this
I don't
is like
think
too
that. I know that. Aggressive? It's aggressive to
No,
say,
not-
hey, guess where we're going, and then just take her somewhere.
Yo,
assertive.
bitch,
Assertive is
we're
the word. Yeah.
going to
You're,
this
you're
barbecue
actually
joint.
saying on a first date you would like a guy to give you a list of places to choose from?
Okay, it's interesting. I'm really thinking.
It's
of
so
this.
plain and simple. It's not even interesting.
No, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. What were you gonna say, Kelly?
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I think it's sweet that he values her opinion. He doesn't want to just take her.
Why would he value her opinion if her own opinion was
I agree
enough?
with Rucka.
If her own opinion was enough, she wouldn't need him. He's taking her somewhere. He's showing her a good time.
Rucka's convinced me. He's
Listen,
actually made a point.
if Maddox doesn't know any good places to go, she can find that out later.
No shithead. The reason you give him choices is because we live in Los Angeles, the world capital. You guys don't know this, but it's the world capital picky fucking eaters, and everyone's got a problem.
God. All right.
Oh, I can't eat
Gluten-free,
gluten.
vegan,
Find out if she
vegan.
has any dietary
No,
restrictions.
that's why shithead. I'll give a range of options, and I'll pick one particularly that has a bunch of healthy bullshit, and that's me judging them. If they pick that one, I'm like, oh, okay, this one's a red flag. And so I'll give them an option. So it's more a thing for me. Rucka.
Oh, okay. So this is not sweet. I'm going down. I'm with you.
No, it's sweet. It's sweet. But also, it gives them options if people don't like Italian food, if they don't like barbecue, if they don't like whatever
listen,
it is.
you have a place in mind to begin with, and if you find out she's a vegan, obviously you need to change it up or something. But like, come on.
If I give you a choice, almost any time in life, if you have a choice to do something, it's a test. And and there is a right answer. And it's the answer I've already chosen in my mind, and I'm seeing if
you're
you choose
giving
the
her
right answer.
the choice
but here, okay, so this is
Yeah.
very interesting about the healthy picky eater.
Yes.
That to me would be someone who would be fit and, careful about what she eats and looks like.
True.
Yeah.
Or yoga, weird stuff.
Listen,
crunchy?
Hippie shit.
First off,
yeah.
why would you take her to a place with a bunch of carbs or some drenched in barbecue sauce place? Take her to get like sushi or something.
It's a test.
Why would you want to take a girl to a place, set that precedent where you're both going to eat a bunch of fattening shit? You're just saying like, hey, let's get fat together.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I agree.
fine. That's fine, but you don't have to order the fat. Even if I go to
Oh
an
my
Italian
God,
place,
yeah.
I'll order a salad and be like,
Sure
what are
you
you
will.
ordering? Yeah. Oh,
Listen,
another loaf of bread.
You're so high. You're giving her places to choose from, and she's not choosing you. I'll tell you that much.
wrong, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Is because you treat it also like giving them options for movies. If I suggest to a girl that your options are, we have this awesome, weird horror movie that's going to probably ruin the night, or a Godzilla movie that's also going to ruin the night, or like a kung fu movie that's also going to ruin the night, or a rom-com, and she picks the rom-com, boom, you failed. That's also a test.
What?
Okay, so this is very interesting to me. So
Yeah.
you don't feel like you can learn anything from someone having a different opinion, or
Absolutely. That's why I have this podcast. It's full of
Right.
people with different opinions. It's like Rucka.
First off,
Speaking of,
are you dating chicks in the 90s? Is the rom-com? Chicks are into superhero movies and a bunch of shit that I'm not even into.
since
So that's
when?
first.
yeah, I
Since
disagree
when?
with- I
Since the
disagree with
last
that too.
10 years. Oh, shut the fuck up, guys. Callers, fucking tell these two ignoramus.
It's superhero.
Mikey,
I don't know
every
a lot of
girl's
girls who are
into
into super.
Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
See, he
What are you
agrees
talking about?
with me.
Who are these
No,
dorks
they're
you guys
into
are dating?
they're into like chick flicks. Like
Yeah.
They're not.
Yes,
Not
they are.
Name a chick
superheroes.
flick that's even out right now.
50
thinking-
Shades Freer.
yes.
What?
Yeah.
Perfect example.
What was that?
50 Shades Freer? Is that what it
Okay,
is?
that's
50
they're just
Shades
Free.
They're
Free,
just
yeah.
they're
Freed.
first of all they're milking a franchise from over 5 years ago, and it's I don't even know if you'd call it a chick flick or a snuff film. It's some sick shit. But anyway, what? So that's
old man Rucka.
That's first off, first and foremost. You're talking about she wants to go to a rom-com. Like, are you gonna take her to the fucking She's All That or some shit? Like, they don't even fucking make those anymore. Chicks are into the same shit that you are.
No.
Second
I
of
wish.
all, fucking movie. You say, hey, want to go see this one movie, and and if the answer is no, then you'll pick something else. But where to eat? You're actually going to give her a list of places to choose
Oh, we're
from.
back on this again?
Well,
Yeah.
he was using the movie analogy.
Right.
He was using the movie analogy to justify his restaurant abortion.
It's not okay. You're wrong. Anyway, so
Anyway.
this girl. Okay, we met up at this place. This awesome.
Wait, so she
little-
passed the test.
She
didn't-
passed the test. She picked sushi.
Okay.
I'm like, great. This is this awesome
Right.
place. It
Good.
looked cool, and I wanted to go there too. So we went to this like sushi place. She shows up, and I see her across the street trying to cross, and I thought, oh my god, that woman's gorgeous. She can't be my date. And because I thought I was expecting to date this weirdo with she was literally wearing a Boba Fett mask in one of her photos, and most of her photos were blurry. I'm like, it can't be her. And she runs across the street in her stiletto heels and was very put together, tight jeans, gorgeous, gorgeous woman, and she steps in a pothole, and her ankle kind of like
Damn.
twists, and she falls forward, and I catch her, and that's how. And she goes, Maddox. I'm like, yeah. Are you so and so? And she says, yes, I'm your date. And I said, oh, okay, cool, great. It was a perfect start to an awesome date, and we're sitting down and we're hitting it off, and we're just talking and getting to know each other. Great date.
Okay.
And then near 3/4 through the date, she says, listen, I have a confession to make. I'm like, oh God, what is it now? Whatever it is, don't want to hear it. Some bullshit. I don't know what you're going to spring on me. She said, well, I actually originally was not really planning on making this a serious date. And I'm like, well, what was the first hint? The fact that you agreed to go on a date to burp with me? And she's like, well, I'm actually going on, 40 different dates or 30 different dates. I forget what she says. And she's like, I'm going on a bunch of different dates, and I'm trying to do one every weekend. I'm like, oh, why? Are you writing a book? And she's like, no. And I said, well, then what? Are you making a TV show? She goes, no. I said, well, what's the point? What are you doing? She goes, well, I'm writing a blog. And I'm like, okay, great. Which date am I? Again. And she's like, you're date number 11. I'm like, okay. And she says, you're the first guy I've told this to, and probably the last. I don't know why I'm opening up to you. And that's the truth, Kelly. A lot of people open up to me. They tend to open up to me. Yeah. And so it was kind of a turnoff that I was just one of 40 dates. Even though we really hit it off, and I started asking her about some of the other dates she'd been on, and she told me all these horror stories, and our date went relatively well. And I'm like, this is going to be weird, but can I read the entry for our date? She said, yeah. And I looked it up, and it was mostly positive. It was, it was a pretty good review of our date.
Okay, but that was it. That was the only date you went on with her.
That was the only date I went on with her. Yeah, I was turned off. I didn't really want to follow up with her, and she was very, very driven. She was very ambitious, too driven. She goes to the gym like 4 or 5 nights a week, and then she worked at some entertainment firm, and she was always busy, always doing something. And I didn't want to be one of her social experiments, even though I gave her the option of a restaurant to choose. So, anyway, I forget why we even brought that up.
I don't know, but the part where she's using you as a lab rat is definitely a deal breaker.
To turn off.
But what was the point? I still don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Just for her blog. Just to say, I went on 40 dates with 40 different dudes.
I think she wasn't quite honest. I think she did intend to either turn it into a TV show or a book.
Okay.
But at some point, I think she definitely bailed, because I checked in on her blog to see how the progress was going, and she only went on like 3-4 more dates.
And that was it.
And and that was it. And one of the dates in particular was with a guy, I think a Persian dude, who was wearing way too much cologne, was a huge asshole to her. And I think it just turned her off to the whole thing.
Or they got married and she couldn't date anymore.
Exactly, that was it.
Yeah, that was the end of the experiment, whatever.
Are you a Persian, Doc? You can be Persian and Jewish.
No, not a Persian Jew, just Jewish.
Just plain old vanilla Jew.
Yeah, exactly.
The regular kind.
That's really funny.
Anyway, we should wrap it up there, guys. Don't forget to vote on madcastmedia.com. That's where you vote on these turnoffs. We want to see what the biggest turnoff is for men or women. Doesn't matter which gender you are. Pick what you think would be the worst one for you. Again, that's madcastmedia.com. That's also where you find the voicemail number. Call in, leave us voicemail. We'll play it at the end of the show. But first, a Rucka wrap-up.
Yeah. Now, it's been said that the state of your teeth, thanks for laughing, everyone. But see, this is Maddox. You should know better by now. So everyone must be silent for this.
Oh, sorry.
All right. It's been said that the state of your teeth is the state of your health. And that's the principle I've lived by my entire adult life. From flossing to whitening. If you look around this table, everyone has beautiful sets of teeth. And that's why we're successful. That's why we're on a podcast on the internet. Please be quiet, Mikey. I don't know if somewhere between YouTube fame and quiet, Maddox, and podcast engineering, you lost the ability to have any reverence and respect. But you laughing in the middle of the Rucka wrap-up is not how we do this. Anyway, please, everyone, floss and just treat your teeth like a microcosm of your life at large. And trust me, good things will happen.
It's a Rucka wrap-up.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well said, well spoken.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, Mikey. even though Rucka
You
doesn't
can talk
appreciate your
now.
laugh. You can talk now. Mike,
Oh,
Mike,
you're
Mike
like,
is still in Rucka wrap-up mode. Well, guys, we should get to the wrap-up, another type of wrap-up of last week's debate topic. Last week, Kelly, I want to get your thoughts, too. If you have anything off the top of your head, what sucked most about the 2000s? Does anything come to mind?
Yes, the Y2K, that whole big thing. I remember on New Year's, I was so excited.
Yeah, that
In all fairness, it was over as soon as the decade began.
yeah.
But it still was there.
The
It was
anticipation was
remember this?
leading up until...
They were like, your computers are going to be crashing.
That was the 90s. That was the worst thing about the 90s.
No, but
as soon as the ball dropped and the 2000s began, the next morning, people were like, so whatever happened with that? Oh, I think a couple escalators stopped for a minute.
Nothing happened. I don't even think there was any damage anywhere. But I'm still going. It was the 2000.
All those people who bought those bunkers, those end of world bunkers, they felt
yes.
really good about their purchases with all the rations and all that horse shit.
Yes.
And they're still selling them too. There's a guy doing on the evangelical networks. They're always selling doomsday bunkers and doomsday bunker rations. And the guy was like, oh man, this is so good. It's really good stew. You would swear it's Dinty Moore or Campbell's or whatever. And people are eating it. And I don't remember who, someone I think on Twitter or a comedian said, if it's motherfucker, it's the end of the world. Your cousins are all dead. You don't give a shit what it tastes like. Whatever you're going to be eating is going to taste gray.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's dead. Don't sell us on the flavor. It's just sustenance. We get this. And he's making big buckets of stew and soup and whatever.
Now, just for anyone out there unfamiliar, what Y2K actually was, because in the 90s leading up to the year 2000, people thought we're so dependent on computers, everything is technological, even though back then we were living like ancient Armenians compared to today. What? You don't they weren't technologically advanced in ancient Armenia?
No, Armenians,
they didn't have everything hooked up to iPhones and internet and Wi-Fi.
Figured shit out.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah.
All right. So people thought that the computers, all roads lead back to a clock that just it has the year 99, 98, and then the year 99 when it's 1999, and then as soon as New Year's Eve hits, it'll go back to 00. No one could explain what they meant, but that every computer would just shut down and start over, and bank accounts would get wiped out, and elevators would just drop, and airplanes would drop out of the sky because they're connected to a computer too. Right. So every computer would just quit on us for at least a moment, and it would all go to hell. Money would just eat us alive.
Yeah, everything would self-combust. Yeah. It was funny. They made some actual end-of-the-world type of movies about Y2K too, and it was very much the same. Basically, it's all this. The number of digits in most variables that were storing dates only went up to 2000 or something like that. And when it rolled over, it would have caused some mathematical error that, like Rucka said, it would just go back to the year 0000, which is not that big of a deal. It was a bust. But anyway,
and can I give my worst thing about the year 2000s? I didn't think of, but your suggestion gave me a suggestion. The anticipation of the year 2012 was the worst thing about that decade.
Why
you were probably into that
why
shit.
2012?
Everyone thought, not everyone.
Oh, the Aztec thing.
Dumb people thought that the world was going to end. They were Mayans, not Aztecs.
Mayans, that's
you
right.
Ignorant fuck.
Oh, excuse me, all to hell. Sorry if I offended any
How
Mayans
dare
in
you?
our listenership.
Well, the Mayans, who, by the way, as you just insensitively pointed out, could not predict their own demise, but they did predict the calendar would end in what we call the year 2012.
Yeah,
and you just had the dumbest people everywhere saying "Oh, yep, the world's gonna end in 2012." And these
are the people you're dating. That's the sad part.
Yeah,
the dumb girls.
These were the people I was dating.
Mayans,
the Mayans, and absolutely.
Yeah, so, getting this. It's 2018, man. Date some girls from this century.
Absolutely, I'm working on it.
Dating a bunch of ghosts.
Yeah. It's good.
But let's talk about what we actually debated.
They let me pick the restaurant.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Great. Wow. Modern man.
Sorry to cut you off after you were laughing out loud through my Rucka wrap.
Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead, please.
So my worst thing from the 2000s, the thing I thought sucked most about the decade was 9/11. And our guest last week, Kristen Brancaccio, brought in Pluto no longer being a planet.
What a debate.
Yeah. And with a 78% of the vote, 9/11. It was not Pluto. 9/11 was the worst thing about the 2000s, not Pluto no
Really
longer
took
being
a lot
planet.
of courage for you to take a stand against 9/11.
Yeah.
I gotta
Well,
say.
at least I fucking brought it in.
Very
Right.
brave.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
At least I acknowledged it. Everyone forgot. It's the one day you're not supposed to forget.
and
Right.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I even forget my own birthday, but I never forget 9/11. And then the other part of the debate, which we'll get to in the voicemail, is it came from a story that Rucka told where somebody saved someone's life in a grocery store, Plum Market. I made the mistake of calling it a Whole Foods, same fucking thing. Plum Market in Michigan, and only got a $300 reward.
Okay.
So the question,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and a banquet.
Well, can I just tell her what happened?
We'll get to it.
All
We'll
right,
get to
all
it.
right, all right.
Because there's a voicemail about this.
Oh,
it's very
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
But the question was, is $300 and a banquet an adequate reward for saving someone's life? And with 74% of the vote, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the banquet part sounds like an adequate. Okay, so somebody passed
Yeah.
out in Plum Market, an older elderly gentleman.
Uh-huh.
My friend rushes over and gives him CPR and saves his life. Like the medics were like, "You saved his life, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He would not have survived." And the guy, he's so thankful. He throws a banquet and and then presents him with the gift, the reward of $300. Isn't that kind of a weird amount of?
I think that's fine. Think about it. Doctors on planes all the time save people's lives. Sometimes they don't even get vouchers.
Yeah.
They don't even get travel vouchers.
I don't think anyone necessarily should get a monetary reward, but $300 is a very weird amount of money to give a barista that rushed over and saved your life.
Well, I will say this: $300 is a very weird amount of money to complain about. We got some voicemail.
All right.
We got some voicemail. This is a guy. So I brought in from the 90s a couple weeks ago. I thought the worst thing about the 90s was boy bands.
Oh.
And this guy called in with a suggestion.
wait to
Listen to
hear
this.
I just listened to the last episode, and I think you should start that boy band and make yourself a YouTube video. Mikey Bolts could be the hot fuckboy that everyone wants. Rucka could be the wild card.
Yeah.
With 2 features that makes average guys feel like they could be a part of the group. And then you got Maddox, the too cool for school, middle-aged sack of shit. That's nothing but a fucking downer in the group. That's the trio I want.
I think he nailed it. Mikey the hot fuck boy, Rucka the what do you call you, the wild card who can make
wild
average
card.
guys think they can join the group. And then me just being a downer. I'm Maddox, I'm the downer. Ooh, I like the downer. That's what chicks would be saying.
Yeah.
Here's
Gives me options.
gives them options, gives
Yeah.
them choice, a variety, and there is a wrong answer.
Oh yeah, I can see those interviews that they would do with like Teen Magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so describe how you like to take out a girl who you really like, and Mikey's talking about all the cool things he would do, and I'm talking about all the wild card type things. And you're like, well, I give her a list of restaurants and see which one she was in the mood for. God, worst.
Yeah, quiz. I give a girl a fun quiz.
Yeah.
Where the right answer is my love, my affection, and boner potentially.
That's great.
Oh, God.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
It's great.
I want to date the downer. Well, speaking of downers, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we have a suggestion. Listen to this.
Hey, Lord Maddox, it's me. I think when Valentine's Day comes around, you should put it on the website. You and Rucka, cutest couple in the universe or best couple in the universe? And there is a difference. Fuck whales.
That'll be an interesting debate topic. We may actually put that up on cutest or best.
Wow.
Yeah, really splice that word. Here's another caller about last week's episode, because we do put these on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked it out, subscribe, search for Madcast Media on YouTube, subscribe and hit that bell because you'll get the notification. Oftentimes they'll go live on YouTube even before madcastmedia.com, just for some reason, the way that the files are uploaded. But listen to this. Here's a caller.
Yo, Maddox, I'm watching this on YouTube right now. All right, I'm looking right here. All right, you guys got so many snacks on the table. You got orange slices, you got pretzels, you got cookies, you got some other snacks I can't even tell what they are, but you got them there. Rucka's got a goofy haircut. And you guys haven't eaten a single snack. What's the point of having all the snacks there if you guys aren't going to have a single one? Also, Rucka, you can delete your Facebook. You gotta dig way deep into the settings.
Oh.
All right, big fan of the show.
You know, my favorite thing about that call was the drive-by on Rucka's hair.
Exactly.
He was talking about all the snacks he has, and Rucka's got goofy hair, and then you had this other thing that no one was eating.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with anything.
Nothing.
Wow, it's too bad he didn't talk shit about your hair.
You know what, Rucka? Low blow. So
Anyway, it's been said that the morale is higher when there's food on the set.
That's
is that
that's
what-
absolutely
That's
true.
what they're
They've done
saying.
studies.
You're in showbiz. You know that you've been on
I guess you're right.
CNN,
Right.
HBO, what
I
that
never
whole
eat the
list of
stuff
places.
though, but you're right.
There you go.
That's because you don't need your morale boosted because you're a
Yeah.
very positive person.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
that's why people should watch this on YouTube because they get to see her smile with her clearly flossed set of teeth.
Very flossed.
I feel like every night I'm going to be thinking of you two when I floss. Every
You're
single
welcome.
night.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah.
We like to get women to think of us when they're flossing. Nice. Ruck and I just high-fived. We're doing it.
They've never done that.
High-fived? Or
I've
flossed?
never even seen them high five ever.
Really?
No, we did one other time, I believe, right? Didn't we? Or I must have high-fived a guest because it was a really
It was a
good
guess.
Oh, okay.
zinger. I had a real good zinger. But yeah, we have all these snacks. It does increase morale. And also sometimes, guys, when we produce this podcast is a lot of work. And sometimes people come in their afternoons, in the middle of the day. They skip breakfast. If we record earlier, they skip lunch, whatever. It just tides you over. But we try not to eat them during the recording so you don't hear mouth noises. You're welcome. But here's another voicemail about something I mentioned last episode, about reverse masturbating, which threw some people for the loop. But this guy got it. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox and everybody, I just wanted to say that I think it's ridiculous that everyone was confused by your reverse masturbation comment. I've been reverse masturbating for like 5 years now, and it's not, I mean, it's exactly what, hold on. Hi. Can I get a number 4 with Chick-fil-A sauce and Polynesian? Thank you. Anyway, hold on, let me pull forward. So anyway, I've been reverse masturbating for years now, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's masturbating, but you're doing it in reverse. So I just think it's ridiculous that no one understood that. Good going on, you Maddox. Reverse masturbate a Nazi.
Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. But you know, the thing I like most about our listeners and our callers is they respect this show. They take this show seriously. They will full-on pause their phone call to finish ordering from Chick-fil-A and then continue. They don't just hang up and then call again.
Yeah.
They interrupt the voicemail with an order at Chick-fil-A.
And what's reverse masturbation? I don't remember that.
Well, I don't even think he used it in the right context. What I meant by reverse masturbation is when you're patting yourself on the back and you're gloating, you're gloating, you're bragging, you're taking credit for something, you're jerking yourself off. Mentally speaking, emotionally speaking, right? And reverse masturbation is the opposite of that, where you're talking yourself down. You're underselling yourself. That's what I meant by reverse masturbation. And I asked the audience, I said, hey, if you guys understand the math, right? Do the math, you'll figure out what I meant. This guy, I don't know. He figured out his order, though. Here's another caller about one of the worst things we didn't mention from the 2000s.
Maddox, I just listened to the podcast this week, and I had to call in because I was just shocked that no one mentioned Hurricane Katrina. It killed about 1,500 people, not as much as 9/11, I know, but still quite a lot. And it cost $125 billion in damages. So, I mean, I think that warrants some discussion time in the debate. But anyways, I just wanted to say that. And also, I just wanted to say that I was so excited when I saw the picture of you and Eric from Internet Comment Etiquette. Or I saw the clip on The Price is Right, and I thought maybe you guys would collaborate. I would be so excited if he was on the show, so I hope that happens. Okay, love the show. Bye.
Yeah, two things. So she was talking about Eric from Internet Comment Etiquette. Hilarious YouTube channel. Everyone check it out. We just got Korean barbecue a couple nights ago, and there may be something coming in the works. I'll just put that out there. Maybe coming on the works, and then he'll probably be on the show pretty soon. I think we were on The Price is Right together with Adam from Your Movie Sucks.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
You really liked that caller, but you cut her off, and she started to say "bah," and, like you couldn't hear the end of that.
Like a sheep.
You don't. Maybe she was saying something like "bomb Armenia."
No, she was not saying Armenia.
She cut it off.
She might have been singing a Beach Boys song.
Ba ba ba.
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. That would be one way to end a phone call.
No, the call just ended. I had a bunch of weird calls that had call problems this time. I don't know why. But anyway, Hurricane Katrina, interesting story. That's where my whole Maddox crown and cape getup came from. During Hurricane Katrina, I thought, you know what I'm going to do, because I'm such a magnanimous guy, I'm going to donate some of the proceeds from my store, my online store, to the Hurricane Katrina effort, because it was a big thing that devastated the New Orleans and caused a lot of damage and suffering in America. Which, by the way, Trump's shithole country comment about Haiti, they've gone through multiple earthquakes and multiple hurricanes, and they've been completely obliterated. This hurricane cost us $125 billion. That's more than the entire gross, the GDP of the country of Haiti. And we're sitting there, fix your shithole country. It's like, it took years to fix shithole New Orleans after the, and I'm not calling New Orleans a shithole, but it was it was devastated after one hurricane in the number one country in the superpower of the world. So anyway, but back to the Hurricane Katrina thing. I donated all this money. I thought, you know what? I am the most generous person. I am the most magnanimous guy, and I want everyone to know about it. I want everyone to thank me for being such a great guy. And so I photoshopped myself. What? No, I veto your buzz.
All right, go on.
So I photoshopped myself over this old painting I found of a Pope where a line of people were waiting to kiss his hand. I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around the nation on a hand-kissing tour. And then I went out and I bought this amazing king's robe, which is actually hanging in the studio. It's right there. Kelly just looked over at my robe. Yeah, and so I bought this king's robe, and I bought a crown, and I went around the country on a hand-kissing tour where people could come up to me and thank me for being so generous and magnanimous. And that's where the whole Maddox...
so you had a bunch of people kissing your hand?
Yeah, I also asked them not to.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But it was part of the...
Who's the joke really on at that point?
Actually, one kid did. It was in Michigan, I think, and he had a very wet mouth. Oh. I remember that because I kept wiping it, and I kept feeling phantom spit on my hand. You know what I mean? Like, you touch something gross, and you still can't get that thought out of your head.
I wonder if he flossed.
No, he did not floss. No. Here's another caller from the Bad Hombre. Listen to this.
Hey, cabrones, that rhyme you're trying to remember? My very educated mom just served us 9 pickles. They changed it to my very educated mom just served us nectarines. Oh, wow, how fucking hard that was to do. Fucking pendejos, I swear.
Thank you for the correction. We always appreciate when the Bad Hombre calls into the show. Last week, we also shit on Kanye West. I did, in particular, even though I couldn't name any of the songs other than the Gold Digger one.
Yeah, you were making the point that his music was better in the 2000s than it is now.
Was I? Or was I saying that it was never good? I said it was never good.
Oh.
Yeah, and so this guy called in to dispute that. Listen to this.
How the fuck do you not like Kanye West? He's the greatest rapper in all of history. He starts out with game-changing music. His first 3 albums, huge step from the gangster rap of the 90s. He brings it in. He allows for complex ideas in music, and god damn it, he changed his game. 4th album in, 808 and a Heartbreak. You wouldn't have Drake, Chance the Rapper, Big Sean, any of them.
All your favorites.
None of them without Kanye West. He's the most influential person of the 21st century. Stay wavy.
Possibly true.
Wrong. And by the way, Drake, if he's responsible for Drake in any way, no thanks. Softest rapper in the game, Drake. And I will say, though, Big Sean, he said that Kanye West inspired Big Sean, was influential to Big Sean. I brought a little clip of a Big Sean song. Listen to this.
Ass, 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 ass.
That's a Big Sean song called Ass.
Yeah.
It was a big hit. Actually, you know what's funny? I'm making fun of it, but I'm a big fan of that song in particular. And I weirdly know all of Nicki Minaj's lines and only like half of Big Sean's. Nicki Minaj killed it in that song. It's a really fun song.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
Rap corner with Maddox.
Right.
Kanye West is influential in fashion. You know?
Is he?
Yeah, rappers used to all wear. Doctor's nodding her head.
Yeah,
She
I
knows
agree.
this.
That is true.
Rappers all used to wear like football jerseys and big chains and oversized jeans and stuff. And Kanye West showed up with skinny jeans and like flashy, ugly, fluorescent crap. Rappers started dressing like women.
There you go.
Flash forward to today, you can be a rapper and just be anybody. Anybody can rap now. You can thank Kanye West for that.
Yeah. Rucka's a rapper.
Look at his face.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rucka, so we talked about that story, the guy giving $300
Oh, yeah.
to the person who saved that dude's life. Here's a very interesting color about that. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox, Rucka. Calling in response to the argument from last week's show at the end that took place. I think Rucka was talking about a friend he had back in Detroit, saved some guy's life, and there may or may not have been money involved, but yeah, I actually know the person who saved the guy's life firsthand. Still consider him one of my best friends to this day. I just wanted to clear up some of the points of that story. First of all, the guy was super fucking rich. Still is super fucking rich. He passed out. He was having some sort of breathing failure, and by the time my friend got to him, he was purple. Managed to do CPR on him for like 20 minutes and definitely saved his life. Now, the real cringeworthy moment comes when he tells my friend, you know, I was thinking about giving you a lot of money, but I thought that would be tacky. Which in and of itself is horribly fucking tacky. But, yeah, I have to agree with Rucka in this case. The $300 is just totally bizarre. Yep, just wanted to call in and touch on that a little bit. Thanks, guys.
Okay, wrong. Now, I will say this, though. That call went on a lot longer. I cut part of it where he said he's been a longtime fan of mine, and he used to have Maddox stickers on his car, and he said one of his friends went to South America and brought him something back, and he's like, hey, man, you know that sticker you have on the back of your car? I got you this big red Che Guevara t-shirt. He's like, oh, thanks for the gift, but that's not Che Guevara on my car.
Oh, it comes pretty close.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's how I knew of you, too, through our last caller, Taylor.
Oh, interesting.
I doxed him, I guess. I gave away his name.
So you so you know that call. That guy was your friend.
Yeah, well, I know the guy who saved the guy's life. You don't think I would know his best friend?
Yeah, I guess so. You know what, though? I am going to say disqualified. We cannot accept that call as evidence.
Because he's
biased.
He's
your friend. Yeah, he's biased. He's your friend.
He actually knows the people involved. He also said, because I called him up. I was like, hey, I need some like,
some ammo.
No, I need to know what happened.
Okay, yeah.
Did the guy give him $300 or like?
Right.
And he confirmed that yes, the hero involved did save the very rich man's life. But although the guy didn't give him a very much money, but he did later on get him an internship with a very big like photography company.
He did.
So
Look at
that to me is way bigger, more valuable than cash.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I had known that, I probably wouldn't have ripped on the guy.
Oh,
So
there you go.
yeah, so he got him an internship, which led him on to being quite successful in his field.
So all he was compensated was $300, a banquet, and a career. But other than that,
The
the
$300 is a very strange thing to throw in there.
I'll take it. Give me $300 then.
Listen, if the $300 was in the form of a gift card, if he was like, "Hey man, I know you like photography, or I know you like coffee. Here's a gift card to a place that sells coffee and cameras," I would say,
it
fine.
was cash. It was
Yeah, he like gave him
cash.
cut him a check for $300.
Pretty good.
that
You
is
know what though? The Spartans took down the Persian Empire with 300 soldiers.
True.
Yeah.
So
So think about that.
What $300 can do for us with today's inflation? You're right.
Who knows? You can
Yeah.
buy a PlayStation 4 almost.
Yeah. But I will say this: if not for my friend having your sticker on his car and for going to see you, he went to see you and the book signing. I don't know if that's the one where your hand
Was
got
it in
kissed.
Michigan?
Yeah, where your hand got kissed. Is
Yeah.
that so? He was there. Might have been him. I
Oh, no
doubt.
shit.
Doesn't
That's
sound
cool.
like him, but
Yeah.
maybe it was him. If not for that guy, you wouldn't have me here correcting all your wrong opinions every day. So if you ever think your work is not reaching enough people, you never know if just one person out there who's a fan, who they in turn might influence, and it changes all of history.
It's a Rucker wrap-up.
Yeah.
All right, we got one last voicemail. Here's one talking about Pluto no longer being a planet because our guest Kristen was saying it was stressing her out. Well, this guy disagrees.
Hey, so you're saying that I'm stressed out because Pluto isn't a planet? I am a high school student, and guess what? I'm not stressing at all. Listen to Madcast Media, chilling out. You know what I mean? See ya.
Yeah.
We have the best callers in the show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we should get to some quick news headlines and wrap up the show. This one's from, this is a hotel valet. He gave his $300,000 Ferrari to the wrong man. This is in St. Petersburg, Florida. The owner of a $300,000 Ferrari is suing Marriott International, saying a hotel valet gave his keys to a young man who was trying to impress a woman he just met. Wow. The Tampa Bay Times reports that the 73-year-old attorney, James Skip Fowler, I don't know why they put his nickname in there. Yeah, my name's Skip. My name's James Fowler, but my friends call me Skip. Put that in the newspaper. He parked his yellow... Oh, of course. This is the guy who owns the Ferrari. So Skip parked... Now I'm like kind of in favor of this valet who gave his car away, because fuck this guy. Skip parked his yellow 458 Italia Spider outside the Vinoy Renaissance Resort and Golf Club last July 27th while attending a lawyers' convention in St. Petersburg. The 2014 Ferrari remained for more than 12 hours until Levi Miles, then 28, showed up. Miles said he told the woman it was his and demanded the keys, telling the valet that the ticket was in the car and he'd bring it back. He never did. The two sat in the car for quite a while, and that's in quotes. According to the St. Petersburg police report, eventually the valet said he stopped paying attention after he figured he wasn't getting a tip. So the guy didn't give a shit whose car it was, he just wanted a couple bucks. Miles drove off with Chloe Rimmer in the passenger seat until an officer stopped him for driving without taillights. Ooh, he would have gotten away with it. The police report noted that the driver had difficulty handling the car, that cocaine was found in the center console, and that Rimmer had marijuana in her purse. Oh, shit. Miles told several stories. Then he said that he just met Rimmer and she asked if the Ferrari was his. He said, yeah, that's my car, he told her. Immediately thinking on his feet, lying about this guy's car. I was just trying to impress the girl, he said. I just met her at the Vinoy, he told officers, but Miles says he's innocent of grand theft because the valet gave him the keys. That'll be an interesting defense. He also faces charges of cocaine possession and habitually driving with a suspended or revoked license. Rimmer faces a charge of marijuana possession. That's amazing. So if you steal a car, even inadvertently, because, the guy gave him the keys, right. If the cocaine is found in the center dashboard, that the guy who owns the car, who's most likely, it's his cocaine, he could then say, nah, wasn't mine. Right. It's this guy's cocaine. Right. So this guy's going to get the fucking drug charge for this lawyer's car. Right. Holy shit. Doesn't pay due crime. Would that impress you, Kelly, if you saw a guy who just had a Ferrari? If he stole it, no. But, I mean, if it was really his, maybe. I mean, I'm not into all that, but, I mean, I'm more into the intelligence. So he'd have to be smart. What if he's like, yo, this is my Ferrari and I'm really smart? No, still no. Huh? I think that would work. I think that would work on most chicks. Most chicks, the Ferrari's not enough. They'd be like, what else you got? Right. What's up in your noggin? Would a Ferrari help you think he's a little smart? No, not necessarily. No. Yeah, it could be a gift. Yeah. 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 Could be an heir. Here's a gift. You got to pay insurance on this $250,000 car. He could have saved someone's life at a plum market. Yeah. Get a career out of it. He's driving a Ferrari. Yeah. What about then? If he saved somebody's life? Yeah. I think it's more impressive. Yo, here's my Ferrari. I saved someone's life. Well, that would do it, right? If he said it like that, no. Yeah. No. Yeah. Here's another story. An angry fast food worker beans a supervisor with a burrito. And yes, they spelled that beans, yeah. And this is good pun humor in these headlines. I feel like journalists wait their entire lives to have these types of pun headlines. Sure, I'll agree. Police say a fast food worker upset at having to work a morning shift has given new meaning to a burrito to go, slinging a hot one at his Taco Bell supervisor. Police in South Carolina say the officers were called to the Spartanburg Eatery Monday, where a supervisor reported telling the worker to, quote, stop being a crybaby just before being beamed with a food-filled projectile. A police report, a food-filled projectile. That's when you decide to use food-filled projectile. You don't use burrito, bean burrito, a bean stuffer, a fart pocket. None of these. That's when you say food-filled projectile. What is this, a fucking police report? The police report says the supervisor had turned away when melted cheese from an airborne burrito splattered her left arm. The gooey stuff also made a mess of the entire kitchen, police say. Police say the worker didn't stop there, adding that they were told he took off his headset, broke it on his knee, and stormed out. No arrests have been made. Wow, how do you break a headset? Those things are usually just plastic and metal. It's just going to bend over your knee.
This reminds me, remember that guy from, I don't know if it was JetBlue or Southwest? He was a flight attendant and he got so pissed and he like took 2 beers and then he just like went down that fun slide thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That guy was a hero.
Yeah, I like followed him on Facebook. I'm like, that is my hero.
Yeah, usually when I read stories like that, I like to read beyond the headlines, see what actually happened, if this guy's being a douchebag. He said that he was tired of all the bullshit. I think, right? He had some snippy passengers, and he was tired of their shit.
Yes, exactly.
Grabbed a couple beers and get the fuck off that plane. Good for him. Hero. Done. It's a real good quitting a job story.
Yes.
So its flight will be delayed. A bunch of unsatisfied customers. Hardworking people will have their lives affected negatively, but at least this guy got to grab some beers that he's not paying for and slide down a slide that you probably need to like authorize to unroll and to roll back up and cost like $30,000 to open. You know, like when they close the gate, it's like they're like, we can't open it for less than $50,000.
Glad we agree.
Yeah. As long as he had fun.
It's a cool story.
Yeah, there's a winner, by the way. I'm sure he's just doing great things with his life.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
And by the way, Rucka, all these like financial costs of this company, like $30,000.
You're the one paying these costs when you fly with them.
Yeah, but he also stimulated the economy by all the stories that went out and all the journalists who got jobs.
Boy.
And then he went on late night television. They sold advertisements. He made millions of dollars for the economy when he just cost the airlines, a couple beers and whatever it costs to unfurl an inflatable a slide back into a plane.
I agree that that journalism on freaky behaviors it definitely hasn't taken a hit in the recession.
Yeah,
but I will say, Doctor, respectfully, you would not.
I wish I were a doctor.
You would not. You would not. You would not. Wait, you're not a doctor?
No, she's a therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you call therapist? Madam therapist?
Just therapist.
Just therapist. Yeah. That's like a.
You've called her a doctor. You've called her a lawyer. You've called her so many things this episode.
Disbarred. He said disbarred.
Okay. Therapist Kelly, was that it?
Therapist Kelly and your co-host on your show is Dr.
She's
Deborah.
a doctor.
Yes,
She's the real doctor.
Okay, what were you going to say, though? What was
Respectfully, therapist. You would not date, nor would you advise the women who read your book to date a guy that would quit a job that way.
I'll agree. I agree.
All right.
Well, he was gay, so it doesn't matter.
That is true.
Yeah, sounds like a keeper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's probably in a very happy relationship with another dude right now.
Oh yeah, the way he handles commitments he's made, the way he just grabs beers, makes a scene, and slides off of the airplane.
You have to admit that. I mean, that takes balls. I can appreciate that. Yeah. You know.
It takes balls. Takes balls, Rucka.
Yeah.
And he probably maybe he was going home to his boyfriend. He's like, honey, guess what I just did? Quit my fucking job,
don't have money
a beer.
anymore.
Boom.
Yeah.
Don't have money anymore except for all the fucking sponsorship deals I'm signing.
Oh, yeah.
Late night talk shows.
I'm sure sponsorship deals at late night talk shows. That's how that works. The guy was in the news for a week and for a day, really. And then he's on he's got to sit around hoping for a "Where are they now?" phone call because nobody will hire that guy.
You know what? Where is he now? We're gonna look that up.
Please, I want to know.
Yeah, we're gonna look this up. We'll have a follow up. We're gonna track this guy down. We tracked down the dude in the plum market. We can track this guy down. I'm sure. Maybe he'll be a guest on the show.
I would love that.
Yeah, he's not flying JetBlue if he comes out to LA. Anyway, Dr. Kelly. Kelli Miller, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you?
Thank you so much. You can go to Kelli Miller, KELLIMILLER.com.
KelliMiller.com.
That's not how you spell Kelly. It's got a Y at the end.
You know, everybody used to joke with me because there used to be a Cheers song, KELLY, and look, I'm so old. No, it's with an I.
Stuff.
Yeah, just with an I. Kelli Miller And you also, your show is on LA Talk Radio.
Exactly.
It's the Dr. Deborah and Kelli Miller show, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
look it up.
1 o'clock on Tuesdays live or on a podcast on iTunes.
Great.
What's the
link to it.
podcast called?
Dr. Deborah and Therapist Kelly show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sign me up.
Dr. Deborah and Therapist Kelly. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Much.
That was so much fun. Thank you to the Sultan of Swag, Mikey Bolts.
Thank you, Maddox.
Thank you to the Maharaja of Moderation, Rucka Ali.
Yeah.
But most of all, you're welcome.
Yeah, this is a person who's really emotional about an unemotional topic. Science? Dude, it's a fucking rock in space. Who gives a shit if it's not a planet? It's a label. That doesn't change what Pluto is. God damn it. This is why nothing ever happens in science nowadays. Fuck yourself.
Yeah, sounds non-emotional. Sounds real even. What's the word?
Stable?
Stable, yeah, stable, level-headed, even, not off-kilter at all. Those are our listeners, yeah, and hot babes. All right, here's one more call. Listen to this.
Oh my god. Maddox, you fucking nincompoop. How the fuck do you have a debate about what sucked the most about the 2000s and not bring up the Great Recession? Fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry we didn't bring up the Great Recession because that happened in the 1930s, dipshit.
That's the Depression. Are you being funny right now? Or
That was the Great Depression, and then we had another depression. That wasn't the Great Depression in the 2000s.
He said recession.
Recession, I think.
Did he
was
say
in
the Great
80s.
Recession?
No,
Recession.
yes. He said
Recession.
recession.
He just said recession.
But the
Yeah.
one in the 30s was the Depression.
Fuck.
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye.
Madcast Media Network.